Let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just see, I took my note.
Additions to the agenda. Anybody have anything? Steve, you got one?
Yes, I do. I'd like to add to new business, under new business, the discussion or some action perhaps on pay-as-you-throw bags at the new store in town, I believe it's called Brook Store.
Yep. Let's put that under new business number 4, PAYT bags. Any other additions? Going once, going twice? No. Chair remarks, I have none. Guests, we have one, but we'll get to you. Open public comments, non-agenda items only. Seeing none. Approval of meeting and budget minutes from December 27th.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the minutes with the correction on page 3. The vote was 3-2, not 4-1.
That's under E. Okay.
Could I have a friendly amendment to your, my name on the first page is spoken correctly, the rest of the way it looks good. And then the other thing is, I believe that the word there on the middle of the third page, I believe allocate has 2 L's possibly. Not sure I'm the same thing.
I spelled that, that's not a word. It doesn't look like
Okay. Anybody else see anything?
Oh, right there.
That thing exploded on me. It looked like my kid after school. Take a break. Everybody happy? So we have a motion. Did we get a second on the?
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded to accept the regular and budget meeting minutes from December 27th as corrected. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Mr. Chair.
You got ahead of me that time. Good
Well,
for you.
I'm trying, after all, I've only got 4 meetings left, so. Mr. Chair, yes, I am. I'd like to move that we accept and pay and authorize the payment of following bills and warrants. The first accounts payable, 13T, in the amount of $151,363.43, and 2 payroll warrants, 51S in the amount of $13,120.21, and 52S payroll in the amount of $10,080.60.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anything you want to say about that? Okay. Well, sometimes you have a witty remark that I'd like to hear. So.
Sometimes I have an explanation of
Yes.
a large number, but
Yep.
151,000 at the end of the year isn't too bad, really.
Okay. All those in favor of accepting the bills and warrants as read, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? David, loader bids.
Just so you know what's in the packet, these were the bids that went out that Jeff's looking at. And the bid I got back is from John Deere is this, and it's hard to go through to make sure everything's in there, compare them apples to apples.
Yep. But it says on here it's not.
Well, it's hard to say, right, if everything's in there.
It says does not meet bid specs.
Right. Because you can't find.
Oh, you mean there's not enough information that they provided to let you know one way or the other? I
Right.
see. Did anyone contact them and say your bid looks weird?
He said that was a standard bid that they did,
Oh, well,
so.
They must not be interested in the business then. They are the best price then.
Yeah,
Right.
significantly.
Yep.
Yeah, by a huge amount. I mean, I don't know what to say. If it, well, I won't say any more right now.
Right, because we don't know if everything's gonna be in the bid too. That's the only thing. With this other one, it's all spelt right out. He checked them off, yes.
Uh-huh.
Or if they change something,
Yeah.
it's all what they have.
Can we get clarification from these guys? I mean, if it was $5,000 difference, if it was $6,000 difference, that's one thing, but we got a $35,000 difference here.
Yeah, I know, that struck me.
Actually, 28 something, Josh. Because I did that number too.
Okay.
145.
Okay, you're looking at it with
Yeah.
the trade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they are offering you, the other two are offering you 30,000.
Yep.
Well, I can see why they're gonna be asking
And
that amount of increase,
David, why is it 2016 more than the 2018?
because it's actually the next bigger loader up.
Oh, okay, thank you.
But
Which is nice when they do it out, you can look at it and see.
well, I took that to mean that was used.
And it is, well, yeah, it's only got 200 hours, so it was a demo.
Right, but it's used.
Right, but it's also a bigger loader.
Oh, do we need a bigger loader?
Eh,
No.
no,
So they actually didn't even spec out the bid that you wanted?
Yep, it's the 621G.
Oh, I see, so you would accept something of this size or larger?
Right, and they put in two, just so you had,
I see, okay. And you have room for the bigger one in your garage?
it will be the same as what we got.
Oh, so it's physically not bigger? It has more horsepower,
It does because of all the new emissions.
the new emissions?
You know, that has a DEF.
Oh, emissions, I'm sorry, I
Emissions.
thought you said emissions, that was very good, yeah. all right.
And that's the other thing, I think the John Deere should have been the next one up to compare apples to apples.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think we can make a good determination without having a good quote from John Deere.
Yeah.
Them being significantly lower is appealing, obviously, but we got to make sure that we're getting what we need as well.
Did you ask them if they would complete the form also?
Once we opened the bid, I didn't, because the bid was open, and that's how it
So
came.
you can't do that.
I got a question on the specs. So you have a 9-page list, specifications. Where'd you get it, or how is it?
This was the same one we used 20 years ago, just updated all the new.
Anybody else have any questions?
I guess, John Deere is substantially lower cost, and I don't know, you can get Jim to, I mean, if he wants to sell a loader, then
We'll have to throw everything out and redo it again.
Well, would you have to? You're just asking them to fill in what they have for information on it, not the bid amount.
I don't think we'll need to start all over again as long as we just ask him to fill the bid.
And if they won't fill the
The
bid,
spec
that's
sheet.
pretty much his answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I like $30,000 cheaper as long as it's the right piece.
I have the same feeling. I wouldn't want to
Ron.
cost the town 30,000 just because
To state my name.
Yes, please.
I don't know about you, but when I go to buy a car, I test drive it and take a look at it. Is that possible with these bids? You sort of almost answered it, and then it was an upgrade on what you had 10 years ago. So I may be in the wrong, have the wrong idea, but is it possible to see these things in person?
Yep, we actually tried the case out in Wilmington. Wilmington had one. Yeah, we have done.
The John Deere one itself?
The John Deere one, we haven't seen that one.
Might not be a bad idea.
Well, are these things not even at the dealership, are they? They have to order them?
Right.
That's what I thought.
Some are like.
They
new
sound
build.
like they're sitting on.
Right, they don't have.
When you
them.
say here, new build,
It's
that's
being built.
essentially, they would have to put it together. It just doesn't even exist.
What you gotta do is find out where there's a loader like that.
Oh, is that, okay, and then try it out and listen to the people as to their success or failure with the equipment. That's probably a good idea, actually.
All right.
Alright,
See what you can get from them as far as clarifying their bid specs. And
yeah,
then
because I know it's a short turnaround for them because they call in for the pricing, so,
okay.
we'll see. We might have to redo it all.
I hope not. But for $30,000, we can redo it all.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Select board letter to Governor Scott regarding the VY position. So if you look in your packet, we have an example letter to send to Governor Phil Scott asking him to do his part in helping push the approval of the sale of Vermont Yankee to North Star through, based on it being a safe, financially responsible decommissioning process. So that's something that we want to send up to Governor Scott because we really haven't sent anything to him as our governor to ask him to support the town in this effort. The Planning Commission, I believe, is doing the same thing at their next meeting, putting this letter together, and we are asking the BDCC, the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation, to also send a letter to Governor Scott with the same voice.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve, sign, and send this letter up to Governor Scott as we presented.
Second.
Moved in second in discussion.
Just, there's, at least, I hate to be an English critic, but on the, and the, let me see, third paragraph down, third line, it says, "We are confident in the North Star's ability to complete the decommissioning."
In North
I think you
Star's
probably
ability.
want to scratch the.
Yep.
I think.
Good catch.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you is, the first sentence in the second paragraph, let me read it for you. As a community faced with the challenge of moving forward in the wake of Vermont Yankees closure, residents are optimistic that reuse of the property will be beneficial. I guess that's true, but it seems to me like they're optimistic that the reuse of the property will, I mean, we would not reuse it if it wasn't beneficial, but I think they also want it to be not only beneficial, but also timely. I mean, we wouldn't want it to become unbeneficial, but timely is certainly, I think, the nature of the beast here. Because what we're asking them to do is to adopt a process, to adopt a,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
what do you think? Or maybe beneficial and timely? But I think timely is really the essence of this issue, in that, oh yeah, 50 years down the road, Entergy will decommission it, but
well,
let's get it done sooner than that.
I think in the last paragraph, it does say encourage a safe and expeditious
It does that,
decommission.
yes, right, it does.
Expeditious
Yes, it
should
does,
fill.
yeah. Mhm. Well, whatever, I was just a comment, maybe it's just my,
You could put prompt reuse of the property would be beneficial.
I'm wrong with saying it
Yeah.
twice.
prompt is good. What do you think? Stick prompt in there somewhere?
How about, we're confident that expeditious reuse of the property will bring significant economic benefit to the region?
Perfect.
Boy, you nailed that, that's great.
I would change that.
Okay. With that letter being revised that way, everybody's happy with it?
I love it.
Friendly
Yes.
friendly amendment to the original as corrected letter. Let's just put it that way.
Now, he's figuring this.
Thank
All right. Very good. So all those in favor of signing the letter as corrected, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We move on. Wyndham Regional Liaison Appointment. John Leonardo. Come on up, John. Come sit with us. So John sent a letter to Tim, which got eventually forwarded to me, that he is interested in filling the vacancy for the town of Vernon for the Wyndham Regional Commission. And we appreciate your interest in doing that. Tell us why you want to do this.
I've been wanting to get involved in public service for a while. I was looking on the unofficial town website, just looking for any vacancies and what seats were going to be up for re-election or election in 2018.
Okay.
And I noticed the Wyndham Regional Commission had a vacancy, and I looked into it, and something that interested me to try to do.
Good deal. Anybody have any questions for John? I did research on you, John.
I didn't, but,
John is a former student Rotarian of the Brattleboro Sunrise Club.
oh, I see.
And as I am a member, and Jeff's a member, and Michelle's a member of the Rotary. So I called a few Rotarian friends to find out about you. You got good marks from everybody. It was great. So I am in full support of putting John on the Wyndham Regional Commission.
If I could make a comment, I've been on Wyndham Regional Commission off and on since the 70s. And I find it to be a really very interesting way to get your feet wet in the way that not only Vernon works, but the county and actually the state as a whole. I cannot say that Wyndham Regional has always been totally supportive of Vernon's agenda, but they certainly do listen to their members, and it does give you a broader look than just the Vernon aspect. And starting out at your age there, I mean, I was 20 when my first stint. I was in my about 25, I think. So starting out at your age really gives you an opportunity to learn a lot more about the county and actually state government. So I'm really impressed with the fact that you're interested. I wish more young people were.
Absolutely.
Then we appoint him.
Second.
Moved and seconded to appoint John Leonardo to, I'm saying the last name right?
Correct, yes.
Yes. To the Wyndham.
It's not liaison, it's
He's commissioner.
as a commissioner.
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
I should
Yeah,
check
it's
things
not
out
liaison.
there.
The agenda is incorrect in stating that it's a liaison position. So all those in favor of appointing John Leonardo to the Wyndham Regional Commission, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Welcome, John.
Thank you.
We appreciate your willingness. Good luck.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, pay-as-you-throw bags at the Cold Brook store was added to the agenda by Mr. Skibnowski. I think that's a wonderful idea. So we just need to, has somebody touched base with those folks and asked them if they wanted to
I
participate?
actually was in there getting coffee this morning, and I just happened to cross my mind that the Guilford store does have those for sale. And so I asked him if he was interested, and he said that he was, this is Tim Ferret, very interested, but just hadn't apparently made the right connections yet.
Sure.
And so I said, well, let me see, what I can do as far as bringing it up as a topic at our meeting tonight.
Yeah.
And that's why I did what I did. It certainly couldn't be more convenient in terms of location. Their hours are extensive there. I mean, when I go to work at 5:30 in the morning, they're open, and when I leave at 8 o'clock at night to go home, they're still open. So,
Yep.
and right close by, and I think that it would be a big help to the town to have them so close by and 7 days a week.
Yep. I agree, I like it. What's anybody else have to say? Everybody's happy?
Yeah.
The one thing that I would bring to mind is that we do this with the Guilford Country Store right now.
Yes.
if we bring these to Colebrook and he's willing to bring them into his store, do we eliminate the Guilford Country Store as a pickup location?
I don't think so, because there are people that live on that side of town.
Well, the only thing I would say about that is certainly this store is much closer.
Sure.
And would involve less time on the part of town staff, which, as we know from last week.
That's exactly
there
my
is
thinking
some
as well.
time taken to deal with Guilford, which is, it's not that far. I'd go over for lunch sometime, but it is certainly some distance, whereas this is just like down the street from the town offices.
Yep, that was exactly my thinking.
I'm neither for or against the Guilford thing, other than the impact that it has on town staff.
Okay. Bronna, since you're standing there.
Two questions, one, how's the coffee? And the other one is, correct me if I'm wrong, we give the Guilford Country Store commission, would we be doing the same? Just to remind you, because they might want it. Just a thought.
I didn't discuss that with the owners.
No.
That was part of what I was doing.
No, it's.
Yeah.
It did come up
But
in
it
my
does
discussions with the
represent
owners.
It did?
It did, and he said he was not interested in getting anything for it, but felt that it would be a town service and that someone would
That's
come in
awesome.
and decide, that they want a cup of coffee too. So that's what he said to me today.
Okay, great. Cindy,
Cindy Truman.
good job.
Just since it's a new store just opening, might I suggest that before you think about taking them out of the Guilford store, we kind of give it a few months?
Yep.
Because we have a lot of people on that side of town that go to Guilford. We sell a lot of bags at Guilford.
Yeah.
And I think if you, number one, you'd have a lot of people that would be upset if they couldn't get them. But number two, just because it's a new store, we might want to not burn our bridge with Guilford, because they've done a really good job for us.
Might I ask what the commission is that we're paying Guilford?
$12.50 a box. So every time they get a box of either large or small,
All right.
they get a rebate of $12.50,
And
which
that was
is
something.
equivalent to one roll of small bags.
Is that voted on by the select board previously, or how did that arrive?
When they started the pay-as-you-throw, Michael Putamash, he made that arrangement with them. I'm not sure if it was voted on by the select board, but he made the arrangement with them.
Yep.
In my opinion, if we're paying Guilford a commission and not Vernon, that to me is not very fair. And I think that we should treat certainly our own in-town
Ron is saying
store.
that it was voted on by the select board. At first, there
Yes.
was no fee, and then
Then they asked for it a couple
You're
years
correct,
ago?
yes.
Yeah.
Then they asked for it, yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that I think that if we are paying Guilford and we're going to continue to pay Guilford, that we also ought to pay our staff in store, because I don't think that's fair.
I agree
That
with
spends
that
the-
100%. So
That's
for
my-
right now, we'll leave Guilford alone until, give it a few months in Vernon. So we can start working with him immediately as far as I'm concerned. Everybody's happy with that?
Did you want a motion?
I don't think we really need a
It's up to
motion,
you.
just a consensus that,
But can I
So-
ask a question?
Sure.
Because we sell a lot of bags at the town hall. If a lot of that shifts over to Coldbrook and we are paying a commission now, could that impact the price of what we need to charge for pay-as-you-throw bags?
we would have to look at that.
That's what I'm
depending on
a
how much-
little worried about.
We would have to take a look at that depending on how much is sold down there, because.
do
like,
we see a big,
Right now, we're okay with what we're doing with Guilford.
yeah.
We're okay right now. But
Do we see a big swing, which we're not gonna see it dollar-wise, but do we see a big swing in the summer or even throughout the year of people buying them at the pool versus coming to the
yes,
town office?
in the summer, there's a lot sold at the pool
Okay,
versus when the rec sells them at the school in the winter,
yeah.
they don't buy as many. But
So
the rec
that
sells a lot.
kind of answers our question. If it's gonna be more convenient to get it at Coldbrook than it is here, hours-wise, then yes, we will see a swing in the revenue.
Right, then we would have to
And
look
the
at.
expense.
In the expense.
our expense. That's
Sure.
my concern,
I think-
because our pay-as-you-throw really has to stay close to the fund.
Yeah.
I think we
Because-
have to see how much they sell, and we'd have to come back and take a look at it.
Yep. Okay. And, you know, we'll have this, Michelle, if you want to have that conversation with Mr. Ferret and tell him that we're approved to sell him, and if his conversation with Steve stands that he doesn't care whether he receives a commission or not, then we don't have an issue. But if he wants to receive a commission and we're happy to pay that as a member of our community, then that there may be an effect. I don't know how else to. Let's see how it works. And if we need to make a change, then we need to make a change. Because that may be our swing to pull them out of Guilford and say, we want to support our local store and more than we want to support the Guilford store. So,
Well, I think we're supporting the people at the other end of town too, for the good store.
yeah,
Yeah.
can't have it both ways, yeah.
But they vote too.
I understand.
Taxes too.
Everybody does. So. All right, budget review. You have a big budget packet.
I'd like to thank Cindy for giving us the actuals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Josh, I have some other information that you guys requested last week that I'd share with you,
Okay,
if you would like.
shoot. Yeah, come on up.
I gave you your actual, so look at there. Okay. I tried to get more information, Jeff, regarding the fund balance. Gatsby, which is the Government Account Standards Board, recommends having a fund balance of 15% of the general budget to have available in contingency for contingency expenses. For FY 17-18 tax year, that would be $302,365.17. Our fiscal year starts on July 1st, and we do not collect our first installment until 9/7. So that's 69 days after the fiscal year begins.
Okay.
Our auditors said that at the very least, we should start our fiscal year with enough money in the fund balance to cover for 69 days of expenses, or 69 days worth of the budget. So that would equate to $381,062.95. They don't recommend going lower than that, because you never know what's going to come up. And also, the other thing is we get our taxes in 3 installments now, so we're not getting as much. We used to get half in September and then half in February. Now we're
You're
getting,
not getting as much.
not at, like, when we get our first tax installments, we're not getting half anymore, we're getting a third.
So
Yeah,
when's the
but
schools due?
It's still one. I mean,
Well, what I'm saying is we have to, we don't get the next payment until January.
it just seems like it'd be easier to cash flow when you've got 3 coming in rather than 2.
Well, it depends on when the expenses come in.
Yeah, if they're not, if you get more in a certain time of year.
Right. But that is the information that I have is Gatsby recommends 15% of the general budget, which is $302,365.17. The auditors recommend at least going from July 1st to the 69 days out and having that much, which is $381,062.95. That's the recommendations from 2 different.
When do you have to pay the school?
I have to pay the school within 10 days for their taxes, from within 10 days of when the taxes are due.
So is that split in 3 times too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I also now am paying this rental twice a year instead of at the end of the year, because they requested to receive it twice a year. So we pay half in December and half in June. So that's a difference. We didn't pay it until the end of the year normally before, but they've needed it, so we split it into 2 payments. So that's another expense that comes in. It's $110,000 some odd dollars that comes in before our second installment is due. So those were 2 different areas where I checked into it, and those are the recommendations. Does that help? Good.
Do you have something? you wanna
I was
add?
just gonna say that last year, the school didn't budget correctly when they were doing it. They were used to the 2 payments instead of the 3. Remember, they asked
Yes.
for money in advance.
They
That
did.
could
They
very
asked
well
for
happen to the
300,000.
town as well, if it's not, if that cushion isn't there to rely on.
Yes.
All right.
The school did ask to borrow last year because they, well, not borrow,
Yeah.
they asked for an advance on one of their payments of 300,000.
All right, thanks.
Well, the other thing you asked me about was the medical ambulance, about the life pack
Yes.
15s. Okay. So I did some research and I found that, let's see, I found where it was first set up in March of 1990, and it was set up strictly for paying for emergency services for residents. Then in March 1st of 2011, there's an article that reads, Michael Ball made the motion that the town change the emergency medical and ambulance service fund policy to allow for EMS programs expenses of the Vernon Fire Department. Disbursement of this fund shall only be authorized by the select board. The vote was seconded and it passed in the affirmative. So then the first time after that we did it was a vote at the May 19th, 2014 select board meeting, where they asked to use money from that fund, and we did. We bought one that time for $28,045. Currently in that fund we have $101,557.64. And I don't remember, Todd, do you remember how much they were a piece?
I do not have
I think it's 30 something.
I was gonna say, I think that when I saw it in the capital plan, it had two payments of 15. So I'm guessing it's 30 grand.
I think
For
the
one.
refurbished are about closer to 19 or 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what they bought in 2014, was a refurbished one, and it was $28,045.
So the long story short is we can use that
You
fund.
can use that fund. When they made that change in 2011, they didn't alter any of the rest of it. And in the original, when it was set up, it says, at such time when the balance in this fund has reached $100,000, the interest earned may be used upon vote of the town to support the cost of emergency medical and ambulance services for all Vernon residents. So I'm not sure if we're allowed to use that 100,000. So if we're not, we only have 1,557.64 we can use. Because it says when it reaches 100,000, the interest can be used.
But that was from the original.
From the original.
From the very original motion and the new,
The new motion the new one in 2011 does not say anything about a,
doesn't say anything about using interest, it just says you can
No,
use the fund.
correct. So,
So we changed it.
and that should be changed in our town report to take this motion into account, so we should probably do that. Because it had never been changed.
Yep.
But we can use it for that purpose, at the discretion of the board.
Okay. So Todd, can you get us some bids or something to look at? Maybe you did already and I'm just,
Oh, yeah.
okay. There you go. Thank you.
I think that's
That's great.
everything that you guys.
Thanks.
All right. So this is supposed to be our final budget review. I don't know if it will be by the end of this, but we're gonna try.
Can I ask a question on the budget?
Sure.
Why are we still keeping the auditors in here when it says auditors voted out 2015-16? Why don't we just take the sheet out?
I don't know, this is how I get the worksheets, so.
That's the way spreadsheet was set up, so it just stayed there, and I can review it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just
Okay.
in case anybody ever asks, when it was
Let's-
taken out, you got it right in front of you.
All right, let's go page by page through this bad boy and try to get this done. town clerk's office. The only thing that I'm seeing that I probably saw before, and I just didn't question it, but the very bottom line, marriage license quarterly return, the actual for 16-17 is $250, and we're budgeting $1,000. Why is that?
Because we were only billed for one quarter
Correct.
in 2016-17. We only, so, and this year we'll be billed for all four. Sorry.
That's right.
There you have it.
Thank you. That explains that. So is everybody happy with the town clerk's budget as we see it right here?
Now I'm gonna have to confirm these numbers with Cindy once, because it was an hour change and I just did the percentage math on stuff.
Okay.
On the assistant, I confirmed it today.
Oh, they're right?
So
I-
this is
I did have
15-hour
one.
assistance?
Yeah, 15 hours for, and then to change the FICA and then,
I did have one question.
That's just on the town clerk though, the treasurer has not changed. But we
I had just a
haven't discussed
question
that
on
in
the
full.
estimated income line. I know that some of the income that they get in the town clerk's office goes back to the state or somewhere else. Is this actually the net then after we've paid the state?
that's correct.
Oh, wow. Okay, good. Well, had no idea. Thank you.
So technically, they bring in enough to pay for their assistant.
What's that?
I said, technically, they bring in enough to pay for their assistant.
They're bringing enough to offset the budget to help our taxpayers too.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody happy with the town clerk's budget?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Consensus, yes? Yes? Bueller? Yes. You happy? You happy as you're gonna be?
As happy as I can be.
Okay.
Across the hall. What's the minimum wage in Vermont now? I think it's $10.50. What do we pay?
Like that.
Yeah, it's 10:50 now.
I have no idea.
And if it's gone up from what we pay, how will that affect our budget?
It won't.
Well, it will. It won't affect this particular budget, but it will affect the rec department's budget significantly because then we have to pay our summer help that we pay minimum wage to a lot more.
And Seth takes that into account when he does his budget.
Yes, we do.
Is there, or what about
No. it does-
change this year?
Yes.
Any of the other departments?
No, nobody gets paid minimum wage except for the kids.
Good to be old now.
We love the kids, by the way. Okay, moving on, town treasurer budget. And this is not reflective of a decrease in hours in the assistant position. So we need to discuss that. Anything else, we will look at everything else first, then we'll go back to that. Because again, that'll change FICA and everything else.
That's good.
Okay.
When you look at your actuals to total budget, it looks really good.
Mhm. Yep. Everybody happy
Happy.
with everything that you see?
Well, I guess perhaps I need a memory jog here. This is not reflective of the 15 hours, reflective of 20?
Correct, it is not,
And so did we
because we have not made an official
Decide
decision on that as of
issue?
yet.
All right, I see, okay, very good. Somehow I thought that we did that. to
So
both.
if you would like, well, we have talked about it,
We talked
but-
about it, so.
and Cindy spoke at our last
Yes.
meeting, Kathy
That
spoke
we
at our
got
last
lots
meeting.
of input from both ends.
So-
Yes.
Let's open up that discussion. What do we want to do? We've talked about it. They've talked about it.
We should leave it alone.
We need a motion or we leave it alone. Need Jeopardy music in the background or something.
I move we leave it alone.
Well, we don't really need a motion for that, but
Well, that's your music, okay?
thanks for the music, though.
You're welcome.
Well, I mentioned something last week. I got quoted somehow in the paper today, and I'm not really sure how that worked out. But anyway,
It's because
by the way, they had the
there's a
same
little
problem with
guy
my
right
name.
across the office from me
Is
that likes to watch BCTV after our
Oh,
meetings
really?
and
Is
write
that what-
things
is
about
that
us.
what happened? Oh, God.
So,
Oh, dear. Well, it's a good thing you didn't quote everything I said. But the thing is that, you know, this particular singular issue, I think someone mentioned that it added 1 cent to somebody's $100,000 house. Well,
correct.
that may be true, but the way I'm looking at this budget for the town of Vernon is, how does it work? How does it compare to how other towns are making ends meet? And also, are there people out in the town now, here in our town here, who are, you know, having to really feel a pinch when they don't have the money to pay their taxes? Because I'm going to tell you, taxes, maybe they haven't for some people, but they've gone up, at least for me. And I'm, thank God, have, you know, the resources, but that doesn't mean that I turn my back on everybody else. So that's my feeling about it. And you're right, this is a 1 cent, but I think if we look at everything that way, we can start trimming things back, perhaps. It's just my feeling. I was of the impression last week that we were possibly leaning towards trying it for a year and seeing if that significantly impacted services, or if it even worked, or if it didn't. I don't know.
That's what we decided with the town clerk's office. Yes.
Yes.
So,
And
and just,
yeah.
you know, to your point, we've reduced the budget since the closing of VY by about 20% overall.
Right. That's admirable.
At the same time,
Yeah.
we've seen an increase in property taxes, and, excuse me, 20% on the municipal side.
Municipal side, right.
And at the same
Yeah.
time, we've
Yeah.
seen a 20% increase in taxes.
And, yeah.
And the majority of that has to do with the school, there's no
and
doubt
I
about that.
understand that, yeah.
But we have to do
And I have
our part
talked,
on the municipal
I
side
have
as well.
talked to people that I know on the school board, not that that's an issue for this area, but I don't get the same sense of urgency or concern or anything like that. And I that troubles me a great deal, because you know what, we're all in this town together. It used to be that the school board and the select board, I think, functioned more closely perhaps in the area of conservatism. I don't see that happening right now. So,
When Connie Waite was on the board, he said that he didn't feel that it was right that the school employees were treated and valued more than the town employees.
Conrad Waite said that?
Mhm.
He's a teacher.
That's right.
Goodness gracious, that's unusual. Yeah.
And that's when they changed in insurance.
And they're union employees, so.
Well, of
Makes a
course,
big
and
difference.
that has a factor too, yeah. I don't know where to even go with any of that, because it's, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure. But I don't get, I'm not sensing from this board a feeling like we should change things in the treasurer's office. And I'll be honest with you, I spend more time in the treasurer's office than I do in the town clerk's office, and there is never a time that those people are not busy as the dickens. And all the times that I've been there, I can tell you that, and I spend as much time as some people do there, as a guest, not as a, you know, as a.
You have your own
as a
desk.
guest. What?
You have your own desk.
I do, and I even have my own sunshine, which I try to block out every time I go. But no, I mean, so I can tell you that there's a lot going on there, and I can tell you that I think that we're well served by the two people who are working there. I'm not saying that we're not, and so it's a very hard thing for me to say, well, cut their budget back, you know, because we're just in the mood of chopping so much percentage off from everything. I'm not sure I'm there yet with that.
Okay. Well, that makes 3, yeah. So, we move on. Auditors, we don't need to look at. We can absolutely take out the auditors. Please remove the auditors worksheet going forward. Listers budget. This one confuses me, and I'm sure I asked this question. I can't do these long, drawn-out budget processes because I don't remember the stuff that I asked, and I don't remember the answers that I got.
The library trustees would like to know where they fit into this discussion tonight.
You don't.
Oh.
The town budget.
You're an article, and we're not at articles. We're on the town budget. We'll do articles probably at the next meeting. So thank you for coming, but we're not talking about you.
It's so warm in here, we're falling asleep. Not because of you.
I'm so happy that we can be so exciting for you. But yeah, thanks for coming. We'll be doing articles down the road, and
While they're there,
We'll be here.
I would personally like to commend them for making her permanent.
Oh, thank you.
What?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
She passed probation.
Yes.
After 15 years, I did it. Oh, actually, it's almost 16 years.
Took you a while to get there.
So we have to thank Jean and the volunteers. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
And we want more volunteers. I hope, I think. I'm saying this without asking Jean.
of course we do. All right, so back to the lister's budget. Why is their pay higher? Don't we, or do we have one less week, or do we have one more week?
We have one less week, but there's a step increase.
But there's a step increase causing that. Okay, thank you. That makes sense. Everybody happy with the lister's budget?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Well, I didn't look at the spreadsheet for the comparative town thing. Are we in line with that for the size town we have and everything?
We are, I don't know that the list, do we have the lister's comparison on there by position? No, I didn't think we did.
We have how many jobs, the total number of full-time equivalents that they have,
Yeah,
and the total number of the department.
yeah.
I can
So
do that.
we don't have actual listers. I
They
believe,
have to have 3 if they have any?
Yeah, they all have 3,
Yeah.
but we are at 1.125 full-time equivalents.
yeah.
Yeah. Other towns are at 0.4, 0.45, and 0.23.
And I guess the other thing you look at, and at least
you
in
do.
this table, I found it was tucked in the top of my bag, but the cost to other towns of the listers is different. And I
Can I
know
see that? I don't
Vernon does
have
not-
mine. I got no
I'm
idea
sorry.
where mine is.
Vernon does not have, Vernon's certainly square footage is lower, and maybe because of our unique situation with our higher
Wow.
level properties here and so forth. Maybe that's what we're seeing, I don't know, but just a question comes to mind. I mean, well, you can see the spread there for yourself, and it's,
Significant.
it is, yeah, it is. And there again, I mean, I have personal contact with the listers when they come in and reevaluate my house, but in my barn and my chicken coops and my dog house and my whatever else I put out there.
You
You
pay
know, I
taxes
have
on your doghouse?
Well, I have a very nice dog house.
Yes, you do.
It's over 48 square feet.
Oh, no, it's not over 48 square feet. But no, it just seems quite a difference, but.
It is.
But maybe there's an explanation, I don't know. it might take more time to run around Vernon to get evaluations on things than it does, say, in Guilford or...
Oh my gosh, to me Guilford, it seems like it's spread out all over.
Well, the thing, I do know that the difference in Vernon, I'm gonna maybe answer some of my own question. Up to this point, we've had certainly Vermont Yank. We have the hydro station. We have power corridors, which I think are taxed, aren't they?
Yeah.
We
Yes.
we have part of Sir Sosimo's lumber mill. Does Guilford have anything comparable to that? Probably not, no.
No, but aren't the utilities, don't we pay someone to do that for us?
What's that?
Don't we pay someone?
Well, we hire a consultant then, sure.
we hire a lawyer.
Because it's very technical.
I
very-
do think a lot of inquiries from the utilities come through
Yeah,
the
that's true.
lister's office, however.
Yeah,
They handle that.
well, anyway, just a question.
It's right in there.
If it was- we got a presentation from the listers, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
I just noticed too that their budget is up, and that may be due to the upcoming audit. is
Their
that-
budget is up due to a step increase in salary.
And but I mean, would they be spending more time with this audit that's happening?
The reappraisal, you
A
mean?
reappraisal, right, yeah.
That comes out of
That comes out of reappraisal fund, that's separate.
Oh, it does, okay, all right, well, that's just salary increase, I guess. Just a question that came up in my mind as I was looking at the two things. Probably the wrong time to ask it, I should have asked
It is the wrong time to ask it,
Should
but
have asked it a
now
month
you got
ago.
my, now you got
So
my
in
wheels
which
turning,
case, then
mister.
let me sit on my hands and go forward. My question's been answered by myself.
Yeah, but now you got my wheels turning now.
Yeah.
See what you
You're
did?
rough on Josh.
All right.
Everybody happy with the lister's budget except for me now.
Yes.
Just seeing you confused is worth it.
Yeah. They are going through a reappraisal this year. I do understand that, but I believe Jeremiah is doing the majority of that, or all of it. If I remember correctly. All right, select board budget.
I noticed on our contributions from gifts, we have spent nothing in 6 months.
Which line item was that? There it is. Found it. What is that line item utilized for?
We use it to buy plaques and flowers for funerals and, what's that?
It didn't get put in here.
The bottom. Last year we used it.
We just haven't used any for the first 6 months.
I don't think I've used any in the
Okay.
last 6 months.
Last year you used it for, a gift for Miss Howe.
Yeah, and we
bought
got
a teacher
Or teacher
Remember
thing
the
for
thing?
Linda.
and we got a plaque for Emily Vergobi for her time on the select board. So we did utilize it. We just have not utilized it at all this year.
Oh, before July
It
1st.
comes at the end of
Yeah.
But
March.
it did go up.
It did go up easily.
Um,
Yeah, why did it
When?
go so much?
Because we included the town, the
That was
employee
the-
appreciation.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
the
okay.
line item of appreciation activities for $416.70.
You can't take your employee appreciation out of that, it has to come out of employee appreciation.
Oh, there's appreciation.
And then you didn't budget for
Where
it.
did that come from?
Okay, so let's budget for it. Wow. Why would I say that? Out of all the people in the world, why would I say that?
That's
We're proud
budget
of you,
for
John.
it.
It's on tape.
Come on.
We got you.
Oh, man.
So-
split.
So 500 there, and then the contribution and gifts goes down to 200 where it was.
Yeah.
And you get the same amount of money one way or the other. It's just on different lines. So we don't mess Cindy up again. And to all you town employees that are here, show up to the stinking picnic, please.
We're not doing another picnic. Cindy, is that a
Okay.
new line?
No, it's never ever. in
Because it
the-
wasn't on the last budget. Is it on? Am I not seeing it?
Been on my worksheet, I didn't add it.
Contributions.
You didn't even go.
Yeah, see, it wasn't on the worksheet.
I was
It's
the
on
only
the
one that showed.
latest worksheet, but it wasn't on.
A true hero in our midst.
Okay,
It's been there forever. You remember, Sandy, we've always had it.
but it wasn't on last week.
Sweating over that grill all by myself. You guys are at home relaxing with a beer. All right.
Who said
We
like
can
this?
talk about it. But anyway,
It's here now.
there's always been a line item.
Yeah, so I assume that contributions and gifts was that
No,
line.
contributions is gifts is for.
Contributions and gifts.
Contributions and gifts. Presents and flowers and.
All right.
All right, so we moved that around to the places it should be. Do we have any other questions, comments, concerns on the select board budget?
No.
No? 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 You don't even care anymore. Look at your
No,
face.
I do care. I do care, but I also don't want to start World War III.
No, I understand.
Because.
Well, no.
But since
Please.
you asked, one of the things that I have always felt is that the select board itself should lead the way in terms of budget cutting.
And we did.
I brought this up last year, and it didn't go over well, and it probably will not go over well again. But it seems to me that a token reduction in the select board, the select board funds that perhaps could go towards, I don't know, offsetting, or maybe some kind of bonus for the town administrator or something might be a nice gesture. And I really doubt would hurt any one of us terribly. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Saying no more.
We're going to talk about what you just said at the next select board meeting.
You
By the
are-
way.
Really?
We are.
Oh. Well, is that the one I'm not supposed to come to, or what?
That's the one I get done. I get done really fast. When you pull in the parking lot, we're already walking out.
You're good. That's the kind of meeting, yes, I remember that one so well. All right, well, I better show up early then.
It doesn't start until 7:30.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
If it makes you feel any better, we actually came really close to our 5% in the select board
Yeah,
budget.
we did.
Oh, no, I'm not
We
talking
did.
about the overall, so I was talking about our
Our reimbursement.
stipend. You weren't here last year for that.
I was here, right out there.
Oh, you were? Oh, well then you
I
know
was
what,
here.
you know whereof I speak.
I do.
It was,
Now that I'm over here.
But I mean, I don't want to start World War III, and hey, you know, it's a hard job, and somebody's got to do it, and I'm very
I
pleased
think
that all of you have gotten together. By the way, I just wanted you to know, I even this evening am having trouble trying to figure out how to put a message together to send to all of you, like you all sent to me, to all of us. And, I just couldn't seem to put it in words, but I agree with all that you've said, and I really, it's been a real pleasure working here. And I'm not finished yet, of course, because I've got 4 more meetings, but
Yeah.
but who's
How
counting?
many?
Who's counting, right?
who's got, well, there could be more if there's special budget meetings, you know.
Yep.
The next one, don't worry about that one.
Because don't worry about the next
Yep.
one.
So the select board budget, we are all happy with? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
With a change to the contribution and gifts and
Yes.
the appreciation activities line? Okay, great. General expenses. This one went up significantly due to the county tax, not due to any increase that we've taken.
Cindy, any chance that we'll get that county tax before we finish this?
I can't say. I can hope, but I can't say.
The county tax is set by the county commissioners, is that it?
Yeah.
based on what their expenses?
I don't know
That's a
what
heck
it's
of a
based
jump.
on.
I thought it's based on
Well, we
population.
underdid it, we
Yeah.
underfunded it in 16-17, but that's why it went up so much.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
If you look, we funded 22,000, it was 41,461.
Yep.
But I mean, at some point, it must have been 22,000.
Well, what happened was, there was a issue with the payment, and they paid all of, it should have been paid in 2 years, 2 separate years, and 1 year, it was paid in 1 year, so the second half only came out of the 16-17 year, was budgeted for just one half instead of a whole.
Oh, okay, that makes sense, yeah, all right.
So then, once we realized what was going on, we corrected it.
All right, gotcha, okay.
Can I ask another question? So if our actuals right now are 26, should we be budgeting for 52 instead of 42?
That's,
We based that on our actuals from 16-17, that's what we based our guesstimate on.
No, the year-to-date actuals?
Yes, I can see.
Oh.
But that's what, where we
That's a
have to-
guesstimate, it's not a real number?
It's a guesstimate.
Okay.
Oh,
Technically, you probably should do like. what
do
you're saying,
52?
Because it's 26,145 for half, so
Right,
assuming the
that's-
second half's gonna be the same as the first half.
And it's population-based, you're saying?
I believe so.
Which means that our population must have gone up at some point.
No.
Or the rate went up.
Or
The rate went up, I don't think our population has moved.
I didn't think so.
So that needs to be at 52.3. Because double that is 52,290.
See, now you made him cry.
I don't. I'm sorry.
So that brings us to 22, or 221,800.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions on the general expense budget? Okay. Any more questions on the general expense budget?
Well, the only thing I noted, and I see this, of course, every time we look at the warrants, but it just seems like an awful lot of money for telephone service here. You know what I'm saying? It seems to me like,
internet
how
service.
could that,
It is.
Business rate.
what's that?
It's all at the business rate, which is just their license
We
to
have a
steal.
municipal rate.
But it's still more than the home rate. Yeah.
It is more than the home rate. Could we get a home?
Yeah, really.
We could set up a cot down here.
The staff feels like it's a home.
I don't know. Well,
We love
whatever.
it here.
That's a lot of money. You think about that.
It is.
That's like,
It's
how
actually
much
less
a
than it
month?
used to be. Remember we had
That's true,
Fairpoint? And
yeah.
we switched to Comcast and it went down.
And we
We did, yeah.
And we chopped out like 2 or 3 lines, didn't we, in the process?
Yeah, but remember, we also pay for the sheriff's department.
Yes.
They have what, three lines over there, 4 something?
3 or
like-
4.
Yeah, and they've got what? They've got internet service and
Yeah.
I know.
We had this discussion last
No,
year.
I know we did. I know. We don't even charge them parking for all this extra people sitting out there either. You know, we should do that. We could maybe recoup some of the money that we're spending on their extra phone lines.
We had this discussion about charging them for their phone and internet last year, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hope springs eternal.
Kind of don't have a choice.
Says the guy with 4 meetings left. Okay.
That's right. When they get the 70,000 they'll catch somebody's attention up in a new thing.
I'm sure it already has.
Probably has.
All right. Anything else on the general expense lines?
So
Seeing none,
that
we move
raises
forward.
the total to, just so I keep my
It's up on the screen.
numbers up. Is it 2?
She's got the total up there.
Oh.
221,800
thank you. Boy, that was fast.
for the general expense line.
Very good.
And I'm gonna cry when I see the difference between last year and this year, I have a feeling.
Oh, boy.
You want me to go down there really quick?
No.
Okay.
I don't know where this fits in your budget, but your water bubbler thingy in there, in the kitchen is broken. Do we? is
Yeah,
that
we
not-
can't afford that.
Yeah,
I know, I don't do it, and we have water bubblers here that are part of the building, why don't we just get rid of that? I don't know how much it is, it's probably
I
$500.
don't think, do we even get the service anymore
Yeah,
that
we
like
have
brings
the
us water?
bottles.
Yes,
Yeah.
they bring us water.
they come trucking.
Okay.
It's not working.
What is,
It's-
what is it?
That's it recently broke.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
why
I
even
was on
have it if we-
vacation, I promised to get fixed.
I'm just saying that's a small.
It broke recently because I used it at one of the last meetings,
Yeah.
so.
I didn't even know it was
The
broken. I
little
went-
plastic
Oh,
thing
you
came
broke
up,
it?
but you know, that's.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Bron-
I did put a new jug on, so I might have,
I think
How much-
Ronna makes a good point, though. The water that's here from your well is very good. This is what's in this
No.
bottle.
Okay, but the water,
No.
the well
Yeah.
water has,
I'm drinking it right now, I
Oh
can tell
my
you.
gosh,
Yeah.
how
Has
good is your
sulfur in
water
it.
at home?
yes.
the well
Does that
water.
mean I'm gonna
Yep.
crumble like
You
a
got
I don't
It's
know,
better
but all I
than
can
your
tell you
water.
is I do know is that in
No.
California, where my mother-in-law lives, they tell you not to drink the water because that's a softener.
I drank
Oh,
softener
God.
water the whole time when I was a kid. Look at me now.
Well,
I know.
so there you
No, we
see.
are.
That's what happens.
I don't know how much it is, I was just wondering.
It's pretty minuscule.
It's a
It's
lot.
very small. The
Okay.
water.
$30 a month.
Oh, is that all?
Oh,
Well,
yeah, sorry.
never mind.
You just come on over when you need a drink from work and come to the bubbler and,
No, I use the
and get
well-
your tax money back
I
one
use the-
cup at a
I use the
time.
well right from the plant. It's perfectly fine. It has all that nice, nice
on the edge.
Miller Farm, how shall we call it?
Softener.
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 Okay. So, planning commission. Let's get through this. We still have a lot of pages to go.
Yes. Land acquisition.
So when the regional went up,
Yeah, it's a little warm.
I can turn it down. Everybody was freezing earlier.
Well, it used to be
We'll move
freezing.
this heat up to our
I
office.
kinda like it.
Okay,
There's not a lot to change here.
it's fine.
Planning commission, everybody happy with that
Yeah.
budget?
Good question.
There's only 3 line items, so it's not a difficult one for us to look at. Rec department budget. And there's 2 pieces to this with the school rental is the next page. And don't make me ask every time, is everybody happy with this?
No.
Well, I'm happy with it from the standpoint that I'm hearing from people who know that they are paying for themselves. And in my opinion, our rec department provides a wonderful, not only service to the residents in town, but a wonderful advertising for those people who want to sell their house. So this to me is money well spent because we're getting it back. This is what I would say, right? I'm nodding at you guys because you did say last time
Yeah.
that they were making
They are.
they were breaking even
They
at
bring
least.
in a lot of money and.
Well,
We have worked vigorously to make ourselves
and they
sustainable.
continue to do that too. So I'm very, I think this is a very well spent amount of money there.
Yes, no, happy, comments?
You want a motion?
Well, I just
No, we don't need a motion, we're just
Still-
going through these.
I think that's a good thing.
feel the difference between what they budget and what they're actually spending is a lot of gaps.
Throw 'em-
That's,
Because the summer stuff is done for this budget, so their actuals are, that's it for the
a
year.
little bit of summer to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got,
We got June,
Okay.
yeah,
so
there
you don't
is
have all
a,
of summer there.
Right. But the other thing too is that they are paying for themselves, and it really the amount of benefit for the town of a financial amount, I think is something that we all need to keep in mind with the rec department.
are you looking at like the maintenance formula and stuff like that, Gene?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, even
Because
other
we
years
did-
that were done, I know you keep dropping some.
Yeah, we dropped $1,500 year over year, so there's, a lot less cushion, just like we asked the fire department to do.
Remember, the minimum wage went up.
Yep.
They have to take that into account.
Yep.
Yeah, did not know that. What is it? It's 10.50. Awesome. Guess I'm not doing it.
Oh, minimum, of course, yes.
So, did you have any other questions, Gene, on this? What are some of the other ones that you feel is overstate?
Well.
Or
no,
too much
I-
cushion, I guess, put it that way.
I mean, I think last time I looked at what they had actually spent in like 16, 17 was still well below
Yeah.
what
And
they
that
were
was,
budgeting.
and that was 2 minimum wage increases ago, so.
Okay.
School rental set by the school, so we can't really do anything with that at the moment because they have not set that as far as I know. I have not gotten word from Mike and or Seth. Typically that goes up about 5% every year.
Why is that?
About right.
Why?
It's all based on calculations that they do, and they
Yep.
get that from the WSESU.
Based on the kind of like a commercial rental space.
Why does it go up 5% a year?
Because that's what the WSESU tells us to do.
Because the
So,
school expenses are gonna go up
Yeah.
at least 5% a year.
Should we change this to 5% more?
that's probably where it's gonna end up, but I would just wait until Mike gives us the official number, or we're gonna have to prod them to give us an official number. But you can probably count on that, or it'll be about a 4 to 5% increase. That's about right, every year, 4 to 5, so.
So I guess we just do it.
You're gonna cry again.
Well, the good thing is that comes back on the other end, so.
But it makes our budget look bad.
It does make our budget look bad. So,
People can't get that through their head.
no. Yeah. That's a beneficial number for us to move up. That's all there
But
is.
we do save money by having it on the town tax.
Absolutely, that's what I mean.
Because our town tax rate is much, much lower than our school tax rate, so
Yep.
we save money.
If they could charge us $1 million, I'd be completely happy with that. Can't do that because the state will catch us.
The guy crashed your hallway.
Yeah. And there's always cameras on too. Buildings and grounds. That saw a nice decrease with the, oh, did we get our letter done to Big Guy Property Services?
No.
We need to. Yeah, we need to give him his notice to, that he's not.
60 days, the grounds.
I would I'd rather just get it done.
Then when are we gonna do from, okay. You don't wanna finish out the year?
Just have it effective.
Yeah,
But no, the end of the groundskeeping year
Sure.
is June 31st.
that sounds magical. Can we just get it
You wanna
done
do that
now?
letter now?
I would rather get it done now and just have it out of the way. Please, please. So, we'll do that at the next meeting. So we saw a nice decrease because of that on this particular budget. Working together, arm in arm,
Hand in hand.
hand in hand. All right. Anything else on this one? I don't know. I'm so tired of doing budgets. Are we happy with the building grounds? Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Cemeteries. They gave us another nice decrease again this year, but utilizing some funds that were available.
Now, Cindy has moved the line item for the South School lawn
I did
over
move
to,
it.
what's that?
I did move.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling them.
Oh.
That she did move it, just,
So that
It was-
$800 is not there, it's in the
it's-
historian's budget?
it's in the
That's
historian
correct.
budget, yes.
Okay.
I moved
All right, so,
This is one line.
yes,
No, yeah, it is the wrong bottom line.
it is. Should be $800 less.
it. The bottom line should be 10,880.
It's better all the time.
Okay,
Just to show.
seniors. I saw an increase for plates and napkins and such. Everybody happy with that one? Yes?
Oh, we did
I
that.
said, are you happy with it?
That's fine.
Okay.
Get my lunch down there, so it's good.
I don't know why you're laughing. Why are you laughing at me?
I didn't say anything.
You didn't have to, it was waiting.
Just looked at my eyes.
Okay. Why is the van driver actual so low?
I know, that's just isn't
Remember,
looking good for
Rita
them.
last year was out. She had surgery.
Don't we have two drivers?
Yeah, but we didn't, our other driver wasn't doing as much driving at that point.
Oh, okay. So they just had less,
They had to cut back.
they did
on
less
some of the
programs.
stuff They did,
Okay.
because she had surgery and was out for a while, and then we finally got our other driver up and running. Driving?
Been driving. Run into the bus.
Okay, everybody happy with the town van budget?
Yep.
Historians, which we have to add the $800 into, yes?
Yes, that changes the bottom number, 3,000.
Okay, and that goes in the grounds,
No, I made a special
a special
line
one.
under grounds called lawn care,
Lawn care. I
As-
like it.
as per the request of this, of Mary Lynn.
I have a question on this one.
Okay.
We have it under historian, South School Museum. And yet we're asking them to treat them like other 501c3s. So should this just be South School Museum?
But the town owns that.
Right. But we don't,
Oh,
so
see, under
all the
historian
expenses
budget,
are
oh.
just for the South School Museum.
Oh, take off
Take off
historian
historian.
is just.
So you want to change the
Probably.
name from historians just to South?
South School Museum,
Mm-hmm.
because the historians is actually, their portion is actually an article now.
Okay, so I will take that, I will fix that.
And that's the 15, or the, is it $1,000 for the historic, or I thought it was 1,500.
What?
The Historic Records Preservations and Supplies Fund that we moved
Oh, to an
To-
article?
to an article.
It's
800.
That was 800? Okay. So that's an article.
No, it's an article.
Under the Historical Records Preservation and Supplies, you'll see that we have nothing budgeted.
Correct,
That $800 goes to an article.
gotcha.
It will not be a part of the budget any longer.
I understand.
Okay. Moving on. Wyndham County Sheriff's Department, we already talked about that, I'm not talking about it again. Is everybody happy with it? Some of us are, some of us aren't. We move on with our lives. Fire Department. Todd, you're here, right?
Okay, in the past, we had an emergency equipment repair and replacement fund. We rolled that over. It seems like we're raising money for repairs that we may have, and not just in Todd's budget, but in David's budget.
Just for
For,
us?
to equipment. Every year we raise it, and we don't spend it because fortunately we don't need it. So should we not establish that fund again, so they don't have to keep raising the money? That's just my pet peeve.
Is that the line that's in the select board budget, that emergency?
No, they used to have their own
Oh.
fund, emergency repair, equipment emergency repair and replacement fund.
Oh, the fire
We
department
took it
did?
out, no, the town did, we took it out a long time ago. We combined all those monies to something else. At town meeting, it just seems that we're asking the taxpayers to raise that money, because you don't know if your truck's gonna break and you have to have money. So if we had a fund for that, they wouldn't have to raise it every year unless they used it. It's my
So,
pet peeve. Because if you look here, there's a lot of equipment repair and maintenance. And you look over at David's and he's got a lot too. And they don't use it because they haven't needed it, but it has to be there in case they need it.
well, the maintenance part, something for maintenance
Right.
certainly would have to.
So you
But
wanna,
repair.
you wanna reestablish an emergency
I think we ought to look into it.
maintenance or repair fund?
I think we ought to look into it. Yes, it's crazy for people to
Don't
have,
you have to do an article for that?
yeah, right.
You would, and then you'd have to dump money into it for a while before it's functional.
So, in the select board budget,
Can,
what are we using emergency repair replace for? $10,000. Well, I remember that being established because every department was asked to not budget in case of,
Right,
because this money would be there if they did have an emergency, they were asked to budget what you really need. But it's obviously not getting used.
no, but when that happened, the highway department and the fire department were not part of that discussion.
Well, those would be larger.
Because $10,000 isn't enough money
No.
to do that for those two
No,
departments,
no.
but that $10,000 was established for every other department outside of highway and fire department. But you are right, that's why we have the $10,000. It's just not enough to cover these two guys. But we took it out of
Yes.
everybody else's.
Well, I guess it depends on, I know you can't say what a repair would cost, but the
Right.
emergency capital plan is also there.
that's, it has to be 10,000. So,
So if he's got a $4,000 problem, we can't utilize that. But we could utilize this new fund that we're establishing that's kind of the catch-all.
and
The,
then replace it, the designated.
So that's why when,
That doesn't-
when we had this conversation at the last meeting and we said, get rid of your cushion because we can still take care of you regardless of what happens. We can take care of you through that catch-all fund that is being established.
rainy day fund
Yes,
kind of thing.
but that's all.
So-
I was,
And it wasn't because you were coming up, I had a note to myself to
No,
ask
it's
about
fine,
that.
I just completely lost the point sometimes. I
but it
did,
looks like you did some
Some crunching.
I did 2 decreases on mine. They're yellow, the lines, but you guys are gray because the basic coloring's more. But,
Okay. Do we have questions regarding this? Because this is not in your packet. Now, were you budgeting the pack that we're now gonna be taking out of that fund in this budget for new equipment?
It was
Life
capital
back.
plan.
The life pack? Okay, okay. I didn't think so, because there's not enough money there, but,
right, we went to the, well, when I met with the capital plan.
Yeah.
We discussed that.
yeah. But now we can take it out of that fund and not have to raise it through taxes, which is even more better. Even more better. If it were any better, it'd be twins. Be happy with this budget?
Good job.
That's good.
As revamped? Yes? Bueller? Yes? Please, somebody say something.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks, Todd, for taking that second look. Appreciate it. Rescue operating budget, that is set by them, we don't really have a choice. Do we have that, is this the official number for rescue for? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. Other public safety. So the health officers in there, we took out, as you all recall, the assistant health officer positions. Annette Royden has decided to continue as an assistant health officer at no charge to the town. So the 6 months that she's in town, she will be working with Mark, and the other 6 months will be Michelle. So that was very nice on Annette's part to do, and helps us reduce our budget a bit. Deputy health officer, not assistant. Sorry. Get my terms right. Any questions on this one? No? We move on. Highway maintenance budget.
Excuse me, I hate to go back, but the sirens maintenance and batteries, what is that? What is that number?
So the town now maintains the one, I think there's 3 sirens.
You mean the ones that Vermont Yankee?
Correct.
put up originally? Okay.
So Vermont Yankee gave us the option
Taking it down.
to take over the sirens
Right.
and be responsible for their maintenance,
Right.
or to just
Okay.
let them go. Between the emergency management committee's recommendation and the select board, we decided to maintain them, and so that's our expense of
That makes sense.
maintaining them.
Yep, got it. The batteries, is that for the weather alert batteries?
No,
Or the batteries
Batteries
for
for
the
the
those
sirens?
are the batteries for the sirens.
How come we never test the sirens anymore? We used to test them, remember?
I know. I have actually done it before.
They don't do that anymore.
We don't do that
I know
anymore.
that because
Chris
I-
Howe was very studious about doing it on a regular basis. When she was the emergency management director, with Dave not living in town, he does not do it
How do we know they
as
work?
regularly.
How do we know they work?
That's a really great question. We have an emergency management meeting.
Next one.
Is it really next
Wednesday.
next Wednesday?
Yep.
But we're going to be somewhere else.
Hemlock Road.
We're going to be at Hemlock Road, so we're going to miss it. Well, we'll miss part of it. So,
Next Wednesday is Hemlock.
yes, we get to inspect Hemlock Road. Bring your galoshes.
Doesn't boots, I think. It's better with the boots.
So we will, if one of us gets there, I'll send David an email
Okay.
and just say, hey, test the stupid sirens, please. And he will be happy to do it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually kind of fun to be able to push the button and make you go nuts.
Especially when you push it twice.
Well,
You put that on Facebook
you
or
do
something,
because
so they know it's a
regular,
test.
right?
Well, we can put it out through Vermont Alert and stuff like that before we test it. That's not a big deal. No problem. Highway maintenance. I'm getting punchy, folks. Let's get through this.
Okay, looks good to me.
When are you gonna spend your money, David? This year? Is it all at the end of the year? Into the fiscal year, I mean?
All throughout the year.
Well, you only spent like $6,500 to a budget of 90 right now. So when do your big expenses hit, like
We got
salt
some bill for
and
salt.
stuff like that?
Yeah, salt's been coming in.
Okay. But we haven't spent any money out of it yet?
It's in the warrant, you guys just
I was gonna
approved.
say you should.
Okay.
have two, and
Gotcha.
there's 2 more on my desk to come up tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it hasn't hit because we just signed those warrants.
Correct.
Now we're cooking with peanut oil.
Gravel will be in the spring. Chloride's in the spring. Equipment rental stuff will be more spring for sweepers.
Okay. Everybody happy?
April to June.
Should you have budgeted
To be
more for
honest with you.
asphalt?
Well, that's why I asked, just because there's so little of it spent that I figured the majority of it happened in the spring.
The tree warden budget, most of that's spent in the spring too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're the tree warden, right? Yeah.
But you're the
That
tree
money's
warden
used for
too?
Taking down the trees, hiring a tree company that we can't do.
Oh, I see, so that's
It's no
paying.
pay, it's all
I was wondering about that.
removing the trees.
All right.
Yeah. He's the tree warden, he just doesn't get
All
compensated for
right,
it.
so that really should be for tree control, I guess.
Yeah.
Sort of like animal.
Yeah, so they
control.
don't escape.
Well, no, so they don't fall on someone and crush them to
Turn
death.
the page, Josh.
Yeah, I get
Turn
what
the
you're saying.
page.
Highway maintenance, we're happy. Garage, town garage operation. Somebody's got to tell me that you're happy with the budget before I turn the page.
Oh, I'm happy with the budget.
Should the health insurance be increased because the health insurance, they've spent 26,545 half year.
Yeah.
We're only budgeting 50.
No, that's not a half year, it's 7 months.
Oh, okay,
Because we're a month, we pay a month in advance.
Okay,
So it's 7
thank you.
months.
All right.
We haven't spent any money on gas or diesel, really, to speak of.
I don't know how much we have spent since June. I don't have that paperwork.
Says $1,500.
1490, 26 out of the 16.
You running those fuel efficient jobs or what?
We haven't
No.
posted.
When they start coming
It's
in for those
posted
trucks.
quarterly,
Okay.
so you don't have the last quarter, because we just got,
They
we
don't
just did it
cry.
today. We just did it
Just did it today.
Hybrid,
Okay.
it's a hybrid program, so
So you won't see that
there's a
yet.
horse in there somewhere.
It was a big one.
Yeah, it has to be, based on what I'm seeing here. Okay. Everybody happy with town garage operations? Okay. Road equipment repair and maintenance.
So that's a 21,900. And then that's to the 14,000 for repairs in the fire department. That's over almost $36,000 we're raising every year. And not spending it.
So here's a proposal for an article then. So if we take those couple of line items, because right now all the excess funds goes into that fund.
Mhm.
So why don't we take our, propose that we take our, whatever you call it, funds, the emergency repair and maintenance funds, and do an article that those funds go into an emergency repair and maintenance fund versus going to the Happy Day slush fund.
Okay. It just seems that they have to raise it.
It makes our process of building the Happy Day fund slower,
Mhm.
but it builds us a second fund that is going in the right direction. But, I mean, I guess in reality, we could use Happy Day fund for anything, so, including equipment repair and maintenance.
Right.
And rainy
Right.
days.
What's that?
You could use it for rainy days.
You could use it for rainy days too, but Happy Days are much more fun to spend money than rainy days.
That's actually a good idea, because when that fund has quite a lot in it, hasn't been spent, you may not have to put so much in the next year, instead of just every year raising that big amount.
Which idea is good? Having
Have
the
an
two
article.
separate funds,
Having an article for,
or just utilizing Happy Rainy Day fund for
Well-
everything?
you know, you were saying about having an article and just
Yeah.
putting money in for,
Yeah, I come up with some
Vehicle.
good stuff sometimes.
you do, and I sometimes agree. I'm in the middle. You know,
So is that something that we want to consider, and how does that help you, hurt you, affect you in the town treasurer's
Just
office?
add another fund.
Okay. it's fun to have funds.
And if it carried, then we could reduce our budget by that amount.
However, may I suggest something?
Sure.
That you put your article in before you do your budget, because if you do your budget and you take it out and then you do the article and they wrote it down.
We are definitely not voting on this budget tonight. I can
No,
tell you
no,
that
no.
right now. so.
At town
At town
Town
meeting.
meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think she's saying keep that in the budget.
For now, right.
And then if you have it left over next year, you'll have the fund, and you
Yeah.
put that money in the fund
Yeah.
instead
Or
of
do the
taking it out of the
article.
budget this year.
If the article passes, then
Right.
you can
You can
then
take it out of
reduce
the
this.
budget if the
Yeah.
article passes.
Right.
Then
But
take
you
it
don't
out.
pass your budget without it and
Well,
then
no, because you can't reduce the budget because then there's no money to go into the fund.
No.
Yes.
Well, no,
Yes,
if the
you have two
article does
articles.
pass, then we know we've got the money for repairs.
Yes, then you say.
And then we can just say, okay, so now we don't need it in the select board budget anymore.
You set up,
and
if you
take
do
it
the
out of there.
article, you make a fund, and then you put money in the fund.
So it's two different
In the
articles.
Yes.
Two
See, I don't like that.
Two
Two
articles.
articles.
Oh,
Two articles.
I don't like that.
That's how it has to be done.
Why?
oh, I
Because
thought
it's a
that's
field
what you were
secret.
saying.
That's the way it's always
You set a fund,
been set up, that you set up a fund and then you put money in the fund.
kind of like years ago where they voted.
Well, no, I want to put the money in the fund at the end of the budget year of the money that wasn't spent out of the emergency repair and maintenance fund.
Then you need an article for it, that's what they're saying.
Oh, I know that.
You need-
That's what I
So
said.
what you want to do is set up a
I
fund but not
thought-
put anything in it
Until-
until the end of the year.
until the
So
end of
then
the
you're
fiscal
gonna have
year.
to leave it in the budget.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Can't
oh,
take it.
oh,
You can't
Because
take
I don't want to
it.
raise,
Oh.
I don't want to raise taxes twice. I don't want to raise taxes to fund a fund that we're eventually going to fund at the end of the fiscal year with all the leftover
So
money
you're
for
taking
the
the money
emergency.
out of the
Exactly.
rainy day fund.
So it's exactly what we're doing with the Happy Day Fund. Is whatever isn't spent goes
So that needs
into
to be
that
part
fund.
of the article that's,
oh, okay.
So the emergency repair and maintenance fund would have $0 in it till the end of this next budget year, and then that money would go into that fund to start establishing
So you're
it
gonna
Oh,
leave it
okay.
in the budget.
and build it.
For now.
We would live it in the budget
Okay.
because we need that money to establish to
Yeah.
put money into the fund
works
that
as
we
long as the
establish.
money's somewhere.
Yeah, it's there.
You don't wanna take it out of everywhere.
Yeah, I don't want to tax us twice to do what we want to do. I want to utilize, just like we're doing with the rainy day fund, utilize the
excess.
over budgeted excess to build this fund so we can eventually stop over budgeting excess per our auditor's suggestions. Make sense? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do an article like that. If everybody's happy.
Happy.
So I'm super happy.
So we can vote on this tonight.
What, the budget itself?
Yeah.
I don't know, can we? Do we have a total that's accurate?
Miller, since she's so good,
We do.
but you know how to turn it.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry a little.
Yeah, you're.
Tissue
Can you
over
read
there.
it? 'Cause I can't see it.
Okay,
Here, here.
thank you. The box is all crushed.
You can see grown man cry.
You're about to. Can you read that
So
out loud?
Michelle, will you send me, the fire department's changes?
Absolutely. Do you want this?
I give her mine.
They're actually.
You want one of
Oh,
these?
you,
Because it's easy.
you put all
Take
this.
it off.
And I'll send you this whole thing, but
Can you read my writing?
1, 2, 6, 9, 5, 7, 8,
So what's our difference here?
is that the one you want?
I can't read that. 2, 6, 7, 78 minus.
That's what I thought. And I'll send this one.
So it's a reduction of 188, 460, 78.
from last year.
From last year.
Oh, from last year.
Yep. But, riddle me this, Batman. Where is the sheriff's department? what was the new total for the sheriff's department at current?
64.
So 64.
No, I don't want that. That's
It was 70.
play numbers.
It was.
What's,
It is.
70?
It's 70 for the
but it's
cost.
236 and some change this year, right? If they vote at town,
232.
no. They gave us an increase this year if we maintain services. At the
Oh,
same
if it-
time.
oh,
They give us like a 5% increase.
Okay.
So it's like 236 and some change.
238,085.
238,085. So, playing devil's advocate. So 238,085 minus $70,000 is $168,085. So, bearing in mind that is a possibility at town meeting, that we go back up to the services that we were at with the sheriff's department year over year, your
Well, here you go. Yeah, just plug it in. You can see the bottom.
your reduction in budget goes to $20,000.
That'll be the town's reduction in budget, not ours. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the budget as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept the budget as presented. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are done with our budget. Regretfully.
You want to keep doing this?
Huh?
You want to keep doing it?
Yeah, we're just, everybody's taxes are gonna go out of control this next year, and we're gonna hear about it. But, their choice, I guess. Public participation agenda items only. Seeing none, correspondence. Look at this. It's correspondence.
I like that.
It's nice.
Do you want this back so you can reuse it? Oh, okay.
I might not get that
I just cost me
ambitious
2
again.
cents. This right here.
So we could
We
put
got
it in
those for
ourselves.
Please,
Or even better, let's do a different color.
please gather your correspondence papers so we can use them for the next meeting.
Keeping mine.
See what happens with
Keeping your paper budget in mind. And those right to the town administrator.
There you go.
Thank you. Town administrator report.
Let's see, we've got a couple of things. In your packets, there's also a request for nominations to the VLCT board, if you know of anybody.
I nominate Jeffrey Dunkley. Totally kidding.
And there's some information from Tim in there. The safe on the vaults in the town clerk's office has been acting very wonky. And rather than wait until it's an emergency, Tim is working on getting that repaired now. The cost of that's going to be between $800 and $1,000. However, he can take that out of the restoration fund. The difference in the prices is really a combination, twist combination, dial combination lock is cheaper than the digital, but the digital he can reprogram, or we can reprogram the code.
Yep.
We don't call them back in.
I like it.
So he's really leaning toward that, but that will get done soon. We have been having some pump problems at the town office because all of a sudden we don't have water. So Cushing and Sons was in today, and they have narrowed it down to, we have a very old pump and probably need a new one. At the very least, some repairs on it. That is probably going to run between $1,500 and $2,200. It will be here in the morning. Otherwise, we're just not gonna have water. Right now, it's intermittent, but Eventually, it's just not gonna come back.
I think, didn't you say that pump was installed in like 71 or something?
He said he was pretty sure his dad did it
Yeah. That's an amazing long time for a pump.
when he was in high school, and I think he's older than him. So those repairs will get done.
Okay,
And that's it.
that's it.
Dorothy.
The PUC hearing is this Thursday. There's a portion of it starts at 6, the other portion starts at 7, it's at BUHS. It is a public meeting, everyone is welcome to attend. The more voices that we have from Vernon, the better. Please attend, please voice your acceptance of the sale of Vermont Yankee to North Star. Just a little plug there. Regular meeting Tuesday the 16th at 6:30. And then the very next day, because it fell bad on the 30 days, we couldn't put it all together. And I know you all hate me for this, and I'm sorry, but stuff happens. The Hemlock Road inspection and acceptance of the Class 3 highway will be the following day, Wednesday, 5:45, with public hearing at 6:20. And the public hearing will be here.
Our visit to Hemlock Road is going to do what again?
We are inspecting the road to approve it as a Class 3 highway
In the dark.
in the dark.
Covered, it's
And the
covered in snow.
The public is invited to
Yeah.
attend this
just
inspection. It's
seems-
required statutorily.
It just seems strange that you would have it in the dark. I mean,
If you would like to go up during the day and look at it and then come join us at 5:45, you are more than welcome.
No, I just, no, I'll go whenever, but I mean,
Bring a flashlight.
right. I understand. I have actually, I carry a flashlight on the house.
There we go.
But, yeah, all right.
Bring a flashlight and a smile. We are adjourned.